Нежданно-негаданно запустил стрим здесь. Сам не ждал такого. Мне забанили другой канал, где я стримил. И теперь я перешел сюда. Да уж. Жалко, конечно, что огромный кусок истории просто стерт с лица земли теперь. Очень жалко, на самом деле. Ну, хоть игра починилась, она на меня была сломана. Так, ладно. Без разницы уже, пускай чат работает. Так, все, чат работает, на том спасибо. Блин, не знаю, как себя успокоить. Оратрис?
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique de...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice...
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact... to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. Is this sentence really appropriate?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the...
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, but now the Oratrice seems to have deliberately...
Это значит, что я говорил, не Фурину приговорят к смертной казни, а Гидра. Видимо, возможно...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still...
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission...
Is that the first prophecy slate?
Че это?
Huh. So the name...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of... But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to...
И что это за картинка?
Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
Ну давайте, раскройте мне.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceit? So when you say Hydro Archon...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can... However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they...
Okay, let's try to recall the context...
Не знаю, как-то сейчас настроение совсем не играть, если честно. Но как-то ж надо себя превозмочь. Да, жалко только качество подпортить впечатление от игры. Да, впечатление от игры оно подпортится. Потому что... Да. Ничего не понимаю, не хочу ничего понимать, мне все надоело. Все бесит меня сейчас. Но с другой стороны... О, правдивые события имеют отношение к плитам.
It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together.
А, может быть, это есть первородный грех? Только как-то странно, не кажется? Почему? Кто его знает?
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with the third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by men. That reminds Paimon. Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen.
И чё? А что нужно выбрать? Оказалось, что фонтейс можно растворить в порочится. Ну что?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, this might be the reason that.
То есть хотите сказать? О, как интересно, это что?
That doesn't sound. That doesn't sound.
Perhaps what is about to take place, the true sin of the Hydro and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia.
That doesn't.
It's not as simple as falling into the. When Navia fell into the sea, the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea.
That doesn't. That doesn't.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve, if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
И чё?
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events.
Мне особо ничего не понятно, да ладно. Ну. Не хочу, даже уже так. Justice.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon.
Я думаю, такой шаг нарушает небесные принципы. И раз люди были выведены из океанидов, выведены, это какое странное слово, то в таком случае Целестия, видимо, ну не знаю я только как она, наказать хочет их и обратно в океанидов.
The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to
The Hydro Archon's true sin was
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make an...
А как Фурин оказалась на... да, Архонтом? Да и предыдущий Гидрагонт вообще погибла, когда отправилась защищать Сумеру от бездны, так что...
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontaine. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Ясно, то есть жили... Где-то было...
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become a... However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessel. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea.
Ну, логично. Так что, ну, я такое не думал, да.
That is the true history.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sent to...
This really might be too much information.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are... A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the... They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water... The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials, and you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the... Therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try... Yes, it refers...
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what.
If that's the case, does that mean...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fort... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that it... As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe it... This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find them.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit that could...
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
Вот как. И он рухнул в бездну. Любопытно. Как вовремя
That
этот...
was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well that whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all
Кидни
the while.
принадлежит Тейвату. То есть Так кто... Бля, тут вообще-то как бы должны хранить... Если существо из другого мира начинает вмешиваться, разве не должен... Селесия не должна вмешаться?
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontaine.
Precisely. That whale finds the Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided...
We just barely managed to push it back.
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that harbinger for... From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could... Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it...
That's... We've already done everything we can. We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand...
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the god, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
То есть кит из бездны всему виной. Интересно, а кто оставил эти предостережения? Кто написал судьбу Тейвата? Откуда плиты взялись? Кто знал об этом? Кто смог предвидеть будущее? Хороший вопрос. А это, по-моему, и есть настоящее, да? Скорее...
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face.
You are not Furina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment.
Fusalo. Why did you...
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national
Так, это
catastrophe.
Фокалорс. Но Подождите, я все-таки пытаюсь понять. Фокалорс... Тогда почему... И она выглядит как Фурина, согласны? Я все-таки думаю, что... Да, Фурина была разделена... Не так. Богиня справедливости, The God of Justice, была разделена на две составляющие. Фокалорс, которая в Оратрисе была, да, и Фурина, которая была человеческой оболочкой, просто как бы... Да. Интересно.
She knew full well that the prophecy would surely
Но она
come
выглядит
to
как Фурина.
pass.
Я думаю, что, собственно, Фокалорс это и...
And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principle. I'm a genius, I know. I can... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and
Ну, я прав.
bewildered as my
Моя
past
теория
self
оказалась
on her
верна,
first
действительно.
day as a
Но
human
это не
being.
от... Но Фурина Архонт, действительно. То есть она Архонт. Как это правильно сказать? Как я и сказала, она разделила себя на две части. То есть всю эту кашу заварила Фокалорс. Но Фурина и есть Фокалорс. Просто ее, скажем так, часть богини. И получается, что это, если спрашивать, то есть это все не... Как там? Эгерия? Извините, я забыл. Короче, это из-за нее пришлось Фокалорс все разгребать, и в итоге Фокалорс как бы вот так вот поступил. Это она всю кашу заварила с этим разделением. Однако, если спрашивать вопрос, Фурина Гидроархонт? Да, Фурина Гидроархонт. Просто лишь часть Гидроархонта.
The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind. She could feel joy, sorrow, and Her strengths were of a kind only... But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she... Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create... I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called...
But Furina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no... I cannot begin to fathom what
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 5, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long... unbearably lonely.
Вообще, как я предполагал. Все сбылось, как я и думал, конечно. Вполне себе ожидаемо. Фурина лишь человек... Фурина часть Гидроархонта. Тем не менее, если она часть, то она все равно
Oh?
является...
Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, all right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon.
Ничего себе. Кандалы.
Steady as
Если так методичку. Не понимаю, почему небесный порядок бездействует. И если во всем виноват Хит, который нарушает законы Тейвата. Он не из этого мира. Значит, Heavenly Principles вообще-то должен вмешаться был. Или мне одному это кажется. Что Heavenly Principles должен был вмешаться.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Go, Barret!
steady as.
Get him!
О, неплохая дела.
Let it rain!
М? Хм. А, о. Вот, кстати, вот это выглядит как человеческая форма. И она не может бегать, она может только ходить. Долго же идти. Кстати, а волосы у нее, да, короткие, кстати говоря. Новая сущность Фурины. Ну как же долго идти-то?
Furina. Furina.
А?
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Be not nervous. Be not afraid. Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How? Mirror you, huh?
Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? the people will all be dissolved into the waters.
Oh.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. Magical. I will tell you how to save everyone.
Oh, so there's still. As for the suffering, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people of.
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
О, это все Фокалорс затеял эту кашу.
Play as a god.
That's right. You must begin a never... If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way.
But how will I do this?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn... Being a human yourself, I'm sure... Remember, your true challenge...
I'm still not... So, how long?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on this... But I promise you...
A trial. Huh.
Вот, видимо, Фурина в прошлом. В очень-очень долгом прошлом. Давнейшем прошлом просто. Когда она только... Вот, видите, здесь она уже по-другому выглядит. Как подобает Архонту. Не, Фурину ты создала как раз таки Фокалорс. Правда разделена?
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. But what should I say to most appear like a god? Ladies, and I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Farina de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will as the god Focalor, the god of justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should... I thought I might stammer, but...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might...
Wait, what's going on? Why is that... Right. Mirmi said that... Calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive. With a strong sense of presence. Now, I was wondering if some weak... Well, it seems that you would all see, right? You may consider my previous act a door... Now then...
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were...
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better...
Понятно. Ну, это было тоже предположим.
Fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my... My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that the scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship.
Let us. There is no trouble in this world that justice can't. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
О, так интересно. Развернулся. Фурина в оперном театре. Ясненько. Ей передали полномочия Архонта. Божественная. Ну, у нее-то божественная, понятно, что нету. Откуда у нее божественная сила, если Фокалорс выбрала просто как оболочку ее?
Lady Furina, here are today's case reports as well as a summary.
Come now. Was I not just... Besides, none of these trials...
If I may be so impertinent.
A magnificent, dramatic, and wonder...
That's true, I fear I lack the ability...
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now to...
То есть она ничего... То есть... То есть там у нее нет сознания Фокалорса, у нее только сознание Фурины. Ясненько.
No need to thank me. Or rather... Alright. Deuteria, is it?
He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should...
You're such a gentleman.
А это что? Не знаю, спектакль какой-то.
Lady Furina, here are the latest hydrological reports.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come.
Well, as I understand it...
Really? Have they...
I'm... afraid...
Oh, is that so? Well...
Проклятие нестарения.
Day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting... maybe this is fine. Alright.
И Фурина в оперном театре. Ой.
Lady Furina, here are the new trial reports for the latest case.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Furina,
Indeed, my dear loyal...
Ясно, это был ее каждый день.
Lady Furina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
То есть, получается, заседание...
Understood. Keep monitoring.
И вот так день за днем.
I feel utterly...
И вот так день за днем по кругу. Пока спустя 5 сотен лет... Пока спустя 500 лет не пришел Итер и не начал тут... Да, не начал. Так, 182 003. Интересно, они случайно такую цифру взяли?
heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame de...
And what a fine family yours is
А,
indeed.
да,
It brings me great
понятно.
joy.
Surely
Какое
you
там число было?
exaggerate, Lady
Подождите.
Furina.
Если прикинуть, что... Сколько там? 182 375. 182 тысячи. Если предположить 182 375. Если предположить, что она каждый день проводила как этот, то можно поделить на 365, мы получим почти 500 лет. Ясно. То есть это событие спустя 500 лет. Вот как.
My lady?
What is it?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder.
Ну, вообще-то как бы все, закончил. Должны были закончиться, потому что...
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed. I never imagined. Have I reached? I want to tell someone. I've conducted so many All I can do is keep heart.
180. Это следующий день, видимо.
Furina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone.
Share that's impossible. It was fated.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be, just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that is in its... He's right. I could, but if things don't play out as it... No, Furina. You shouldn't... But what if... Furina, you've worked... Is it such an outrageous thing? If you let this opportunity slip, think about it. Long and hard.
Да мы так все.
No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my...
Фурина непреклонная, смотрю. Однако мы узнали ее прошлое. Целиком. Все, только что за прошлый гидроархонт. Да. Подождите, если она создала...
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never...
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive... She did very well. If she had let her resolve fall... It seems that trusting humanity was the...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save...
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue.
Фурине человеческая часть, но Фокалорс выглядит... Она по своему подобию отделила. Ну, сложно сказать, что здесь.
I'm sure you've long sensed that the oratories...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice. It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me.
Ну, понятно. В принципе, я предполагал, что сердце Бога вместе... Подожди, пряталось, ну не в том же плане, что она же... Это была не физическая оболочка.
Alas, your understanding of this... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is... Oh, you have it. And to be more precise... I mean, my work over these last 500 years. But really, some have already discovered that only a small, the vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your...
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontanians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules
Ничего себе она
established by
замахнулась.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina nor... the destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro...
But...
Кстати,
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours.
all you've done throughout the years.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now...
тогда что?
Hydro Dragon, Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice... So, if the theft of the primordials... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, in other words, existence was Egeria, defying the prophecy and ensuring that At this point, we, Iudex Nervillet, the highest judge in our land...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve... At last. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living... You are a devious one for things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare that...
Любопытно.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
Получается, с Фуриной проклятие спадет?
Farewell, Nervillet. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Получается, с Фурин должно спать проклятие, она станет самой обычной смертной. То есть все, официально Гидроархонт погиб, получается, теперь? Официально, да? Хотя, может, для народа Фурину оставит Гидроархонтом.
Judex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
То есть Нёвелет приобрел максимальную свою силу. Гидроархонт погибла. Гидроархонта как... То есть силы Гидроархонта больше не осталось. Сердце... Ведь Гидроархонта, по сути... Ну, любого архонта есть изначальная сила, а сердце Бога лишь усиливает. То есть это такие катализаторы. А что с сердцем Бога-то случилось? Ведь получается...
What just...
Was that bright light some...
But since we're all...
It's time to end this. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain... We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that... Come with me, traveler.
Ну, понятно, думаю, что это Китахер Бейтер одолел. А, вот, собственно... Бля, как-то пророчество какое-то... То есть пророчество само по себе... Ну, я не понимаю, Причем этот кит вообще из другого... Он даже не из Тейвата. Типа, кто-то 500 лет назад знал, что через 500 лет вот эта хреновина появится... И будет тут докучать Тейвату, что ли? Вот здание. Как с ним вообще сражаться? Как с ним вообще сражаться? Как его вообще дамажить? Блин. А он серьезно будет? Куда он делся? А есть... Как же бить-то его неудобно. Печаль, ё-моё, он мне дождиком хочет полить.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour.
Вот, блин.
Chance will present itself.
Хоть дамаг проходит потом. Но я буду его бить 100 лет. Потому что... Я вообще не знаю, как убить. Он постоянно... Как его убить вообще? Гость с дальнего берега. А, не, реально поглотил. И чё? Чем вообще бить-то надо? А вообще возможно победить таким отрядом?
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Я вообще не понимаю. Да, может он будет здоров, конечно. Просто я думаю, я буду... Это вообще трэш. Да, отряд вообще не готов. Хотелось бы, конечно, победить именно таким, но я не знаю даже как. Я даже не знаю, как... Я вообще не понимаю, как ему урон наносить. Уж извините меня. Он еще и постоянно попадает. Чем вообще бить прикажете? Это даже посерьезнее, чем Райден будет. Я не знаю, чем разбить его. Вы прикиньте, сколько нужно бить его? Семейно. Я реально буду бить просто. Какой пожирающий нарвал, извините. Дамаж, как всегда, но вот только... Я не знаю, какие шансы обчитера здесь, хоть в теории даже. Но дамажка, конечно, будет здоров. Ничего себе, урончиком не смотрит. Ой. Можете, давайте мы сидим. Да. Это финальная битва. Короче, какой-то кит приперся, поглощает воду первозданного моря, и это из-за него должно затопить фонтейн. То есть, я такой не понял, почему здесь Селесть? Я имею в виду, по сути, чем Селесте разгонит, ну, типа... Давайте сжим это. Что Селесте, собственно, сделав против Фонтейна за их первородный грех, или как он там называется? Вот как нужно сражаться. Можно так и пострадать. Короче, я понял, надо, когда он... Я забыл, что надо физой махать. Опять, что ли? О, мы разбили его. Теперь Невельт будет добивать. Ого, у него. Вышвырнул этот кусок и еще.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Питомец твоего наставника? Мне больно интересно, кто твой наставник. И если сказали, что этот кит из другого мира.
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What?
That power.
Hyman has an idea. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an... That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. All in all, it failed.
Mister?
The point being...
Well, being that this pet... So what sort of person is your master?
Oh, right. So you don't know. His name is Sertologi.
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine Doctor's part of the Hexen...
Oh. So you do know that name. To be honest, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely...
Wait! Didn't you also mention a vision?
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly... Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface, in other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Ну и правда фонтейн затопило.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Кстати, битва с Нарвалом получилась какая-то слабенькая, мне кажется. То есть, в прямом смысле, мы с ним сражались от силы, даже не победили его, а просто... Да, странная битва какая-то получилась. Да, не с одним боссом. А где гигантский корабль, про который там Ризли? Кстати, видимо... Ну, не говорит, наверное, вопрос решит. О! Подожди, это фонтейн, что ли? Нет, вот и корабль, кстати. Чего? Он летает? Я думал, плавать должен. Ничего себе, тут технологии, конечно. Ничего себе. Ризли, конечно. Понятненько. Они шли всех жителей. Фримене как в своей стихии находится. Че он тут? Людей спасают. По всему фонтейну. Ну, разве что Нёвель здесь, да, должен прийти разрулить. Получилось... Ну, я вряд ли сомневаюсь, что он бросит вызов.
Look, the water's receding.
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Почему? Фонтейн затопило. Однако...
Are you right?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
Как затопило, так и растопило. Оттопило обратно, да, как говорится. А с китом мы как-то особо не посражались, хотя... Такая... Опять это бездна. То есть причина пророчества... Пророчество лишь текст. Причина катастрофы, которая наближалась, был Нарвал. Вот только он, судя по всему, хоть из другого мира, и однако он не прямо сейчас. Видимо, он был... Ага. Мы его остановили. Без применения... Как она сказала? Запрет. Помните, она сказала что-то про... Так. Это уже не то. Битва где была? Нет, до того, как... нет, после того. Вот мы с ним сражались. Что там она сказала? Так, сейчас посмотрим. Рыцарь скверно. Так, вы же победили всепожирающего нарвала, не используя силу не от мира сего? Сила не от мира сего. А в чем, что за сила не от мира сего, интересно?
The soul renewed. The Spinati Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Skyship Winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, the value for these big
Даже не
scoops
знаю,
lies in their
как-то
inevitable
концовка.
follow-ups.
Ну, я даже не знаю, слово разочарование, насколько уместно здесь. Но действительно как-то разочаровывает немножко. Я не знаю. Во-первых, битва с китом была совсем уж какая-то вялая. Ну, то есть, вообще как-то мы снимала. Скирк появилась. И все.
Edwin's assistant Jurier created a true flying.
Просто теперь представьте, что... Кстати, а ведь Фатуи забирают Гнозис и все. А что случилось с Гидром Сердце Бога? Покалорс исчезла. Все, Гидроархонта, силы Гидроархонта не существует больше. Личности Гидроархонта не существует. Осталась лишь оболочка, которая, ну, обычно смертная. Проклятие, наверное, тоже спала. Так что, получается...
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that.
Ну, это, конечно, даже не знаю, если честно. Вот как конец странненький получился. Правда, я все еще пытаюсь понять пророчество. Причем здесь небесный порядок? Типа, я к тому, что небесный порядок, небесный порядок, небесный порядок. Я так из этого всего не понял. Разве Селестия собиралась... Как Селестия собиралась? То есть, не они же воду первозданного моря поднимали или что-то в этом роде? Я про... Обмануть? Это же Кит просто приперся сюда.
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's...
А, напередила.
Do we have anyone doing maintenance on this, statue?
Fine, if you can't afford it, then just give me the photo back.
Do we have anyone doing maintenance on this, statue?
Fine, if you can't afford it, then just give me the photo back.
Do we have anyone doing maintenance on this, statue?
Так, ладно. Давайте посмотрим. Диалог с ним поменялся? А, нет. Все так же. Поиск в море водорослей. Эпилог. Бестия. Ну, как-то слабо... Я не знаю, слово слабовато. Ну, во-первых, уже помните... Кстати, я помню... Вот оно в чем дело. Я просто вспомнил, что в 4.1 мы расспрашивали Нёвельта про... По-моему, в 4.1, если я правильно помню, мы расспрашивали Нёвельта про Не, подожди, не в 4.1. Это было на могиле, наверное, в 4.0. Слушайте, сейчас я гляну. Галерея персонажей. Архив. Когда мы Нёвелета расспрашивали обо всем? Так, книги, журнал путешествий. Нёвелет. Вот здесь, по-моему, нет, разве? По-моему... Ой, извините. Вот здесь. Сейчас проверю. Вот здесь, наверное. Да? Ясно. Я-то удивлялся, почему в 4.0 мы это расспрашивали. И ответ стал, потому что часто спрашивать не у кого. Гидроархонт, во-первых, она тоже ничего не знает. И во-вторых, гидроархонта теперь вообще нету. По-моему, небесные принципы трещат по швам. Получается, вообще сейчас Фонтейн вообще без... Ну, понятно, Нёвелет будет как управляющий. Но именно Архонта больше не осталось. Ой, извините меня, я тупанул. А еще, что самое главное... Ну, я даже не знаю. Подожди, если не осталось Гидроархонта, значит не осталось Божественной силы. То есть, получается, небесные... Ну, как минимум, та Хранительница Небес. То есть они потеряли связь с Гидроархонтом. Потому что она умерла. Странно все это, правда? Это Фатуй. А сердце Бога будут пытаться стырить, наверное, в 4.6. Как раз и будут сражения тогда происходить.
Oh, it's you. Hey, I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represents... Our residents are hard at work.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like... But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature at...
That would be fine. Thanks.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials.
Huh? You're here?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Furina. So she's here in Poisson to wait up.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson.
Wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know...
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as all. Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone...
Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news. And also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Wow, you really...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillet, and he...
That's a very...
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. That...
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear...
Стоят. Я даже не знаю. Эпилог. Как-то бодренько все, да, было в 4.0, в 4.1. А здесь даже не знаю, как бы это правильно выразиться. А куда нужно? Наверное... ну если крепость, то сюда. Как-то... какая-то... Вот в 4.2 было... В 3.2 была прям мощная концовка. А тут какая-то вялая. Вялый бой. Не знаю... Потом диалоги. Как-то все вяло. Может быть, конечно, в концовке нам какой-нибудь дадут мостик в будущее, но вообще вяло все заканчивается. Здесь это же концовка, по идее. С другой стороны, считаю, что я чуть не 12 катаю. Да. Вяло. По мне так вяло.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real...
Looks like you've been missing it.
Dude! Did you come?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Не знаю, ладно, я пока не буду. Конечно, подпорчил впечатление.
Hey, no need to be so...
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear, but...
Sir, please don't say things...
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very...
No, I just...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, the boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that's... Still, if I might ask, where's that...
Looks like Charlotte's trying to get...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be...
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps...
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos...
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a...
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Wouldn't
Надо поговорить с Невритом.
New drink
Sijuin.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Sure. Come on, Miss...
sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the fortress?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone...
Other than that flying ship, I got a tad too...
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions.
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have...
I'll just leave the spotlight. I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger...
He sure did win them up.
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what about...
What change can there be? The fortress will keep chugging along, and so... As to what Miss Furina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the...
Hey, everyone! The photo shoot's done!
Good. In that case, let's call it a day here.
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go!
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater All right, last stop, the docks.
Порт Ромарин. Это который... А чё я не вижу? Отслежка есть-то хоть? Нет отслеживания, я думаю, что за фигня? Не, эпилог. Я думал, мы поговорим с Невритом, с Фуриной напоследок. С Кирк. Питомец. Они явно где-то не здесь живут. Откуда они вообще приперлись? Возможно, из самой бездны. Я не знаю, если честно. Потому что они явно не в этом мире живут. Мне кажется, Скирк не имеет никакого отношения в принципе к... ну, как сказать, к Тейвату с точки зрения... то есть она не является уроженкой. Хотя кто его знает вообще, кто она? Нам вообще ничего, честно говоря, не известно ни о чем, по сути. Я думал пока что, или думаю, что в конце должна быть пару диалогов с Нёвелетом, может быть, перекинуться словами с Фуриной. А то, мне кажется, это странновато будет. Закончить сюжетку Фонтейна без... Хоть. Ну, какой-то концовка, конечно, слабенькая получилась. Нагнетали. В итоге... Да нагнетали, что...
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently...
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is...
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal.
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my...
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by...
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact?
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize. He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist...
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater as...
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out.
Lynette, could you come over?
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized... Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events.
That's all right. We were more than happy.
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Furina left, Father and Monsieur Nervillet opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
О как! Тогда я вообще не вижу причин сражаться с... Да. Сердце бога Фонтейна. В качестве дипломатического дара. Сердце бога. Оно вообще... ну, наверное, в нем же не должна быть какая-то заключена мощь. Все-таки.
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help. Furthermore, Father did also lend...
That's true, but...
I would agree, but I've also heard that...
So there's some reason for...
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the topic. The gnosis was...
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster...
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the...
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the...
Are you going to take the note?
That is our duty as... Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place. Switching my masks is something I've Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision?
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to.
That is correct.
so forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my
Я не вижу ни одной причины сражаться с Арлекино 4-6. Уж извините, вообще.
Don't be too nervous.
Даже
Why
сердце
don't
Бога
you take a
уехало.
magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets. I guess this must be life. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets.
Я думаю, хоть снял это.
Guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see how Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
Верно. Осталось договориться с Неверетом. Точнее, поговорить с ним. О, черт, он дал сердце Бога. Хотя, с другой стороны, Неверет такой, а зачем? Ну, в принципе, если Гидроархон больше нет, как она себя, интересно, убила? Но это было... Вообще, это же было не в реальности, это было какое-то подсознание. Но, с другой стороны, она себя убила чем? Энергия, которая накопилась во время судов. Да, смерть, конечно, очень странная. Просто ее сложно даже, ну, типа, как-то вообразить по-нормальному. То есть ее убил какой-то фонтейновский крюк или якорь, или что-то такое, да, типа. Чувствуете, да? Как это... И это было даже не в реальном мире, а в каком-то подсознании, сознании или каком-то кармальном измерении. Я не знаю, то есть что угодно, но не так, как... Да, то есть просто так это не объяснить. Да уж. Думаю, задание мира... Думаю, задание... Ой, стой, что такое лаги пошлись? Видимо, идет вроде бы. Видимо, не так... Видимо, здесь... Ладно, поговорим с ним там. Ну, понятно, а мне осталось последнее сердце собрать. О, представляем, ну да. Чувствую уже прям...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. All right, let's have it then. How was Fontaine?
It is strange how words can...
So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to... Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to... In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true...
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come... Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal.
Он разбудил его.
But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of... As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he...
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to... hang on a second. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had...
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would...
Yeah, when Annette said the fountain is where all...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new
Paimon sorta gets it now.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that.
Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me. Before leaving, I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted.
То есть теперь официально Гидроархонта просто вообще нет. Да уж, назревает явно какой-то беспорядок. Я думаю, если бы хранители небесные принципы... В принципе, каждая нация сама вольна решать, как жить. Но те порядки, которые установила Селестия, конечно, ох, как их это не разочарует, что Морок сымитировал свою смерть. Ну, только То есть единственный архонт, который реально руководит страной, или, по крайней мере, это, получается, Нахида единственный нормальный архонт, что ли? Потому что Венти где-то постоянно нету. Джуны вообще, типа, притворился мертвым. Эй сидит в кукле. Нахида вот архонт, все с ней могут поздороваться. И здесь вообще архонт погиб. Класс. Из пятерки архонтов только один архонт, блядь, как архонт. Остальные либо просто сказали, либо перекладывают ответственность на других, либо вообще устранились. Ну, а Фокалорс вообще себя прибила. Вот это я понимаю. Вот это я понимаю небесные порядок. О, да, замечательно.
She simply said that she was Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the opera house.
But...
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not wander. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon,
What about you then? What are you...
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice... This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided...
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the...
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith...
Это как те Моруни будут Кстати говоря, в этом-то и проблема. Морокс перестал быть... Ну, не перестал, но он потерял сердце бога, и теперь Моруни чеканят. То есть новых монет не появляется. Это может когда-нибудь спровоцировать кризис. А здесь не будут вырабатываться энергии, и рано или поздно... подожди, сейчас расскажу.
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute.
Wow. This ancient dragon's a...
Ask away. I will tell you
Понятно,
the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed their sole remaining goal in Fontaine. At least, the Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine... As such, it has lost all meaning.
Понятно, значит, сердце бога скрыто таки сила, да?
If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request.
What complicated considerations?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can...
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers... Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravaged. There is one other piece of information I got incident. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless...
Ну, понятно, мы с Капитана будем как раз-таки, скорее всего, сражаться в Натлане и победим его. Ну, это все, как и говорили.
Like a real tough customer. Seriously.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, we guessed that there might be some reason for...
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the... So regarding this specific issue, I will... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Ну ладно, подождем, может прогрызть. Ну, такое себе, знаете. Не, ну... Ему осталось одно сердце бога. А что, когда мы прям снежную сердце, вот с кем мы там будем сражаться? Что вообще будет, не знаю, они с 7 сердцами могут...
We're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry.
What next?
The all-devouring... I can finally catch the scent of your power. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons. But with something very similar to a god's... I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you...
Of course. You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains?
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she
А
handed her gnosis
из
to me.
останки третьего сошедшего? Итер четвертый сошедший. Подождите, разве первый сошедший не как хранительница небесного порядка? Нахи ты говоришь, что вроде же первый сошедший это хранительница небесного порядка. Мы, Итер с Люмином, если братик, да? Четвертый сошедший.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young. And I have never returned to the surface since.
Понятно, она
So
в
most
бездне
of the
сидит.
information it is only natural for those who are greater than humanity. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person...
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my...
This third descender you refer to.
Master never mentioned them to me. If you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time, you believe we will meet?
I do. Wait.
Интересно. Полная власть истинного гидродракона, сила гидродракона, она более сокрушительна, чем хранительница небесного порядка. Кто знает, кто знает. Сердце богов сделали из останков.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove you...
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special meta...
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be... I guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I didn't. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third
Значит,
descendant.
сердце бога настолько хорошо совместимо с силой стихии, что...
I wonder.
Like being... No, let's not think about comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic's... Once child recovers, let's get some more answers out.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when
Alright, whatever the...
Yes. All the
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human.
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds, life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. And what ultimately?
Кто знает. Маскарад. Продолжение следует. О, можно с это поговорить. Что ты скажешь, интересно? А?
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things. Ask away.
I'll
tell you the truth as I know it. I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, fun...
Ясно. Окей. Спасибо. На этом завершаю... Тихо. Давайте подключим в настройках. Вот так вот все завершилось. Вот так они все расписали. А? На тройке? А, ну, наверное, честно говоря, я даже не знаю, что сказать. Ладно, ачивки пока не будут отмечать, потому что... ну, фу, блин, я даже не знаю. У меня, наверное, я не готов крутить Фурину сейчас. Я что-то как-то, знаете, как бы это правильно сказать, психологически немножко измотан. Голова, ну это понятно, голова большая. А что тут? А, точно. Я хотел бы с Фуриной пройти. Откликнулся. Маленькая океанида. Надо... Я посмотрим, будет ли диалог какой-нибудь еще. Ай. Надо паузу сделать. Вот что нужно сделать. Точно паузу. Все-таки что-то не стыкуется. Не стыкуется. Прошлый гидроархонт, по сути, навлекал на себя бедствие, правильно? Гнев. Но вопрос. По поводу... Да, блин, опять не туда. Архив нужен. По поводу бедствия. Но ведь это же... Да хватит ко мне в мир залетать. Задолбали уже. Экипировка. Я не могу понять кое-чего. Журнал путешествий. Сколько бы я не переслушал. Ах, разлив дневных вод. Судебный день.
The sweet... Sorry.
Fusolo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. The Heavenly Prince...
Deceiving.
It's all because of that... One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my... She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come. And as one of the seven. So yes, as you have known, I spent a terribly long time mulling it over. Alone on the ocean floor, I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the... But one can...
So you were also once...
Yes, I was. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity...
Я не могу... При чем... Став архонтом, я отделил обретенную божественность от тела и духа.
All part of the plan, of course. Anyway, so all part... Do you still remember that? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed... Instead, I suppose now you probably...
Even though she has had a long life... Even though...
It has indeed. It's been... And all along...
Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people...
Oh.
What's... The people...
Все растворяет... Все растворится в воде. Я не совсем понимаю. По поводу пророчества, да-да-да, но я не могу понять. Пророчество должно было сбыться, потому что разбушевался какой-то кит. Причем тут небесный порядок вообще? Что значит, она хотела обмануть небесный порядок? Если он вообще ничего не сделал.
Incredible. Linny. Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the... The evidence for that can be... Oh, and according to Navi... Yeah, and it follows from the content of... That could also explain why the
The Hydro Arc...
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the...
Yeah, isn't the image...
Все равно я не понимаю. Я не вижу связи. А еще более того, кита разбудил Тартали, которому явно не 500 лет. Однако плиты явно старые. То есть кто-то 500... Божества. Откуда взялось пророчество? Эй, подождите, пророчество. Пророчеству явно не 500 лет. Вы знаете, какое у меня ощущение есть? Я, конечно, не уверен. Но такое ощущение, что просто кто-то... это просто, знаете, это пророчество в бесконечность. То есть, типа, условно говоря, пока не сбудется пророчество, вот они такое пророчество там затопит Фонтейн, люди растворятся, рано или поздно когда-нибудь такое случится, да?
So? Be not nervous.
The people will. But
Doesn't. I will tell you how.
as for the. But if the prophecy will come true, if there were.
I suppose this would. Don't worry. It's not play. That's right. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying. But don't worry. Being a human, remember, your true challenge.
So
to accomplish this mission.
a trial.
Как-то странно. Все равно какой-то бред. Я не вижу в этом смысла никакого. Ну, это реально бред какой-то. То есть, нет, я думал, просто про кита, кит. Так, что там про кита нужно смотреть? А, это если был, да? Нет?
What just
Was that?
It's time to end I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. We should seize the traveler. Now that the oratory, the root of the calamity, traveler. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. Come with me, traveler.
Thanks for helping with the... It was just supposed to be a short private training session for... Oh, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point. So you may speak to me as I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's... That kind of power is wasted on it.
А где-то было, я пытаюсь вспомнить, где он говорил, что...
It's time to end this. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it.
Я все еще... Где-то помню был, что он говорил, что кит поглощает... А разве не... А, это не... Подождите, это было не здесь. Когда кит вообще? Вот здесь. Даже кит раньше появился где-то. О, боже мой.
So we've met it at last. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has been greedily consumed.
Энергию передана морю нашей планеты.
And once it has finished consuming all...
You said that when the Hydra...
Precisely.
Вот я говорю, смотрите.
It has been
Главная причина повышения уровня моря. То есть во всем виноват кит. Я просто мне кажется, что какая-то причина чтобы пророчество сбылось, причина какая-то надуманная. Есть какой-то кит, он вылез из бездны и пожирает энергию первозданного моря. Что вообще какая-то бредятина. Нет, я серьезно пытаюсь понять. Я не очень понимаю, если честно, весь замысел. Я сижу, думаю, я не понимаю. Я пытаюсь понять, Во-первых, кто пророчество придумал? Непонятно, да, кто придумал. Во-вторых, пророчество существует, видимо, с незапамятных времен, когда еще была предыдущая Гидроархонт, она создала людей из океанидов, она смогла превратить океанидов в людей. Угу. Накликала гнев небесного порядка. Только вот, знаете, какой интересный момент? Небесный порядок ничего не сделал. Этого, ну, по сути, Фонтейн должен был утонуть, ну, затопить его должно было из-за кита. Но кит никакого не имеет отношения к небесному порядку. И тут получается, что обмануть Селестию, обмануть небесный... Я не понимаю, что, как обмануть? Почему это как-то странно все? Или типа она хотела, чтобы Фонтейн затопила, но люди не растворились, что ли, так? Но я не совсем понимаю, при чем тут вообще небесный... Это же не небесный порядок затопить Фонтейн хотел. Ну, то есть, да, не боги Селестии.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an appearance.
Ну, очень странно. Давайте...
Sorry.
You are not...
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that...
You are not for Fusolo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. One was not amused. In fact, she knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the... So yes, as you have no doubt, sir, I had to outwit. Although, looking back now...
So you were also once...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body. All part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember? In order that the prophecy might... Under the curse I played. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now...
But Furry, even though she has had a... I cannot be...
It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing...
Mm-hmm.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never won...
Yes, it had to be done. She did very well. If she had let her resolve, it seems that...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation?
Ah, good.
How would you build... How would...
Ah, good. I'm sure you've long said...
I've always suspected that it had its own... It now seems that that person...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking... Alas, in truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is...
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be... I mean, my work of... But really... Some have already discovered. The vast majority has been.
It was all...
Indeed. This power, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne.
Зачем было отдать? Короче, я не вижу в этом вообще никакой логики. Извините, я не вижу. То есть, да... Селестия явно была тем недовольна. Но по поводу первозданного моря. Повышаться его уровень стал, потому что разбушевался кит. Верно? Верно. Причем здесь Селестия, непонятно. Зачем нужно было разрушать, как она говорится, божественный трон Архонта? Пошатнуть установлены.
The destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's. In other words, this was all. No, the authority of the.
All you.
I've never quite. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. I, for my part, speaking of justice. So.
Ладно, все, я не буду даже разбираться, потому что для меня это какая-то бредятина получилась. Вот извините, я вообще не вижу связи никакой между пророчеством и том, что произошло. Во-первых, кто-то пророчество выдумал. Ну, то есть, кто его смог? Кстати, а где это? Где... А, да, реально, а где новый босс? А нового босса-то нет. Чё это? Кстати, и боя нормального с ним не было. Кстати... А, не, это я так. Смотрите, босса нет, верно? Значит... Кстати, да, босса нет. Угу. Значит, его не вкатили сейчас. А, ладно. Не знаю. Не буду я, конечно, сомневаться в гениальности разработчиков, потому что так или иначе все-таки они профессионалы своего дела, что геймдизы обычные, что нарративщики, все, в общем-то, свою работу выполняют на максимальной оценке. Но я, если честно, не очень понимаю саму эту идею с пророчеством, с казнью Гидра Архонта. Ну, посорян. Ладно, давайте. Ага. Кстати, у меня смола, у меня скоро смола. Не хочу винить никого, но сомнения у меня явно есть. Очень странно. И, кстати, босса... Кстати. Сюжет-то закончился, а босса нового нет. Чувствуете? То есть, видимо, информация, что босс появится в сюжетном... в задании легенд Фурины. Похоже, информация оказалась правдивой, потому что Фурина... Босса до сих пор нет. Вы видели босса? Я его не видел. Вот, его же нет здесь. Где сражаться? То есть, получается... Или, подожди, может он... А, вот он. А, окей, посорян, моя косяк. А почему мы оказались здесь вообще? Чудовище некогда... Это пространство... А, ясно. На Фурину нужно вот это вот собирать. Вот он где поселился. Странно. Странное место, если честно. Почему здесь-то? Вообще нет связи. Ладно, значит я ошибся. В этом я ошибся, извините. Уж. Ладно, пойдемте выполнять задание легенд Фурины. Тоже хочу это на стрим запечатлеть.
Hey, Catherine, it's us. Got any new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
Тихо от меня.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding.
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress, but the troupe has also been experiencing some financial
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. There are only a few days left until the performance.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring a musical.
If you're interested in helping, why not? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate. Paimon approved.
Понятно.
Hello there. Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in.
Ah, I see. It's okay. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. That's the thing. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out.
Disband? You're splitting?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe. One last show, and after that, nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever. The show just won't be the same without her. But forever.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsor?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the most, we should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you... That's how you... She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed...
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows, but even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, she's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in it. Well, yes. Fair enough. I'm sure everyone in our troupe... Of course, it all depends on whether she's it.
No point in stressing about that. Besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to...
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll...
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live...
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you. I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should... It is my duty to support commission...
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find...
Маленькая океанида. Кстати, раз... Подождите, жители Фонтейна... То есть, получается, это, наверное... Кстати, я вот не знаю, но я думаю, что да. Я думаю, что... хотя... А вот жители Фонтейна, которые... Давай все нормально. Жители Фонтейна, которые не в Фонтейне. На них... Господи, как-то попасть вообще? Не попробуем туда, может, ближе. Жители Фонтейна, которые не в Фонтейне, на них не живут сейчас в Фонтейне, а живут в других регионах. На них распространяется вот это вот новое правило, что они теперь не будут растворяться в воде первозданного моря. Любопытно, любопытно. Мне кажется, оно либо... Что с крыльями, вы видите? Да, понятно. Мощности не хватает. Стоп, Фурина где-то здесь, Подожди, где она поселилась? Что это за дом? Подожди, это же... Разве это не... А что это вообще за домик? Просто домик, мне казалось...
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here? Not that there's anything wrong with this place.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now, not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have...
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like La Lettre Fossilor or Blubber Perfect...
there it is. You don't know...
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you... Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said... Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
My help? Well...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the...
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... So tell me, what... I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just... After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine. But given the present circumstance...
How come? It sounds like this is...
True, but I have made a decision. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I was. Of course, that can't be undone now, but at least I can say that I no longer desire to play.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that if I make an exception to the rule now, so I'm not going to perform.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help? Do you know any other actors who might be...
Nope.
Short into the...
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for... True, but, I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Ooh.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't... sorry. I didn't mean for that to...
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we... Yeah, I guess that's all we can...
Toodaloo to you, too.
Живет себе в домике одиноком. То есть она живет здесь. Вернись, передайте, что думает Фурина.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Ага. О, моя музыка заиграла.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the adventure. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her.
I see. Well, circumstances. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to...
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so...
Only joking, calm down. Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still...
Look, this is the last chance we have, though. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole...
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication. I share everyone's desire to commemorate. Every one of us thinks of...
You're right. I'm sorry. I let my...
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot... All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
Furina? Didn't you say you were...
I was just ever so when you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right... And all before I even had a full... I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions. I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. But in any case...
Yeah, When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a...
There's no need to think like that. I was wondering, if this troupe is so if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe.
We all want to believe that, but everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and...
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artist...
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their But still...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, lady. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from
А что если
strength
Фурина
to strength.
станет их руководительницей труппы? Выступать-то ей особо самой не надо, только руководиться.
And then disasters.
Yeah. After... None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side. It's agonizing. But ultimately...
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginning. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides...
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the Traveler here. After hearing... I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. I can, however, provide some... But only if you feel this is some...
Oh, most definitely.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consult...
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask, take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologue? You just want to get back in a...
No. This is a completely different...
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss... Alright, follow me.
Вот как. Забавно. 5 вечера. Леди Фурина. Ой, далеко. Как любопытно. Интересно, что нас ждет? Ну, я предположил, что в 4-6... Нет, не в 4-6. В 4, скорее всего, 5 появится Дайнслейв снова откуда-нибудь из-под земли вылезет, как всегда. И будет что-нибудь про лор рассказывать. Про конрях, сошедших. Ну, в общем, все про все это, как всегда. А вот что будет дальше, я уже не знаю. Хотя... Запихнув босса, который никак не связан с... Кстати, ну да, в принципе, в этом есть логика. Однако непонятно, почему в 4.6 будет сражение с... Чего? Куда? Сражение с... Фурин... Ой, с Фуриной. С Орликиной. Я не вижу ни одной причины для сражения. Но я думал, может, за сердце Бога? Но нет. Даже не за сердце Бога будут воевать. Ладно. Тут такая вот грусть, печаль. Ну, сюжет неплохой, конечно, в целом, но как-то натянуто слегка уж. Или слишком натянуто даже. Ничего не остается мне.
Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We just...
So, you were saying the...
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So...
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, We've been battling issues on every front, trying to... The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid. She longed to live just like any other human. But one day, her true identity...
So far, so good.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But
we still haven't decided between a happy ending...
By true to life, you mean the director?
Yeah, like they... But then there's the question of whether we really want...
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for... And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on... The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance.
Huh. Although...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware.
Our director was constantly singing your praises.
I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet. But one by one, all the obstacles...
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying...
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite.
Yeah, maybe he could use...
Poisson... Nothing. I suppose my... So, allons-y. To Poisson...
Уйти. Все ушли, кроме Бурады.
Pressure's on now. We gotta make sure we're fully prepared.
Ой, Питер слишком близко. Давайте уберем его. Скрыть себя. Думаю, хороший, может. О, там кто-то еще, кстати. Стой. Да. Слушай, там еще я не заметил. Там еще кто-то заныкался. А ты кто?
You're off to Poisson to find Paulo, right? Have a safe trip.
Тяжело. Не знаю почему. Что-то почему-то тяжело. Не знаю, когда тяжесть на душе. Ладно, тогда здесь останемся. Ладно, нет, подождать не здесь. Тут как-то тупо... Блин, у меня еще и смола слива. Хотя 2 часа. Вернусь, успею вернуться. А какая разница, в конце концов? В Пуассон их отправь. Ну, я на этом закончу стрим. Задание Фурина тогда будет вне стрима. Да. Таки сюжет. Хотя сюжет все равно кусок от вас. 4-0, 4-1 же канули в небытие. Какая теперь разница в принципе? Не только все кануло в небытие. Что ж, а раз все кануло в небытие, то просто в этом больше нет никакого смысла. Конечно же, я буду продолжать какие-то делать заметки, скриншоты. Безусловно. Этого у меня, надеюсь, никто не отнимет уже. С Фурина, да. Welcome. Последний... Кстати, восстановили? Нет. Эти так и будут. Ладно, на этом я закончу.